Hello friends, this is a video talk that we plan to have on understanding China. Of course, this is a curtain raiser. We will have a full-fledged video talk on China. So what is it going to be like? But for us to understand what China is about, we would need to know its geographical location. As you can see that China is, depending on what source you consult, either the third or the fourth largest country in the world by area. I would go with the idea fourth largest, and population wise, of course, the second largest. You can see it spans large area, and it's quite different, differently populated in different parts of the geography, its geography. For example, just 6% of the population lives on this side of the country, just 6%. 94% of the population lives on the eastern coast, southeast, and eastern coast. So what exactly makes it quite different? What makes it very different in terms of demography, in terms of population? We look at the kinds. You look at the number of countries it has a border with. It has a border with Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos, India, Bhutan, Nepal. Of course, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan. We have Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Russia, North Korea. Now, in some sources, you will find that China shares a border with Pakistan. Not really. This would be, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So consequently, this is where China comes in with border. Otherwise, there is no border that it shares with any, anywhere it shares a border with Pakistan. Okay, guys. So that's but always remember, have a look at where it is to be able to understand that Japan and China don't see eye to eye. Why? How come they don't see eye to eye? There is a reason behind it. Historical grievances. Look at North Korea, shares a contiguous border with China. Look at South Korea, it does not share any land border, but it shares a marine border. So all these things play a vital role. Now even look at Taiwan. This is Taiwan, the tiny Taiwan here, and China has often claimed that China owns Taiwan. That Taiwan is a province of China, the 23rd province of China, because there are 22 provinces here. Okay, but Taiwan says no, we are an independent country. So consequently, we will in our video talk look at what exactly is stopping China from taking over Taiwan. Well, it sounds very interesting to me, at least, because I look at it this way. So everywhere you find that there is this talk about China is going to be the future superpower. Is it going to be a future superpower? I have my doubts, but then we will see whether doubts could be cleared. We will look at three major things. We will look at the polity, the military, and the economy. Okay, but for us to understand Chinese polity, we would need to know, Mao Zedong was the father of China. He ruled China after it became a communist country in 1949. Between 1949 and 1976, Mao ruled China with an iron fist. And during this term, he came up with these weird ideas, policies that led to the deaths of millions of his countrymen. Like about 2.5 crore people died during the Great Leap Forward, that happened in the 1960s. And of course there was this cultural revolution. The cultural revolution started in 66, went on till Mao's death in 76. This also led to the deaths of millions of Chinese. But these things have shaped China, my friends. So in our video talk, we'll focus on what Mao did and how his policies continued to shape, today's China. From polity, we'll look at economy. What was China like before Mao's death, and what prompted them to change the course of their economic trajectory, the kind of path they were on. What pushed them to change their socialist model to one of allowing foreign investment, foreign technology, and everything else. So we'll look at the structural economic changes. We'll also look at how China became a global manufacturing powerhouse, and today it is the largest economy in the world by GDP, nominal terms, but the largest in GDP PPP, purchasing power parity. We'll also do, whenever I would discuss these things, I would always define what these terms are. So the economic jargon won't appear to be jargon. Okay, we look at, of course, the military aspect, the strategic aspect. Like, China has had numerous problems internally. There are demographic troubles. Mao asked for population explosion. He encourages people to produce as many as children as they could, because he said we should have more people than the enemy has bullets. So that was his idea, and that created its own problems, of course. And later the Chinese came up with this after Mao's death in 76. In 79, the Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping, he came up with this idea of one child policy, and that has led to trouble today. There aren't enough enough babies today, which was also one of the fundamental reasons why there is a massive economic slowdown in China. And this has also led to a lot of political repression. Economic slowdown and political repression are feeding each other, and this is happening under the watch of the current Chinese president, Xi Jinping. Ladies and gentlemen, Xi Jinping is, he sees himself in the mold of Mao. He is the second Mao, he says. Of course, not as many words, but he believes that he is going to be, the leader. He is going to be the guy that China should, remember after Mao. Of course, external, there are a lot of problems as well. China has problems with, this Belt and Road Initiative that it has had, in different parts of the country, about 145 countries. It's not going good for it. Okay, rivalry with the U.S., of course, Taiwan issues, South China Sea issues. Then, of course, there is the inevitable comparison with our country, India. We have major border issues with China. We also have this economic issues, because we import much more than from China than we export to China. So we have a huge budget deficit, trade deficit with China. And of course, there is this entire rivalry in terms of China being looking at itself as this global superpower, and India does not figure in that list of its priorities. So, ladies and gentlemen, please tune into our video on China, so that you would get to know a great perspective. You would get to know a great deal of things about today's China. Thank you for watching this curtain raiser. Thank you so much.